Hello passengers, this is your Chappy speaking, and welcome back all you. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. And anyway, I have been busy. Anyway, I'm back. Finally back to talk about more things. You could call this my season 2, whatever you want, but I'm back and I've got some things I want to ramble about. So without further ado, let me introduce this week's, day's, month's topic of who is the best Joker, or just a chat in general about the different versions of the Joker that have been in media, movies, video games, etc. So without further ado, have I said that already? I don't remember.
So without further ado...
But anyway, let's get right into this. So, I think the best way to start is talking about the various live-action Jokers, from all the way to whoever played Joker in the 60s Batman, all the way to today with Joaquin Phoenix in his portrayal of the Joker, which I have seen the movie, or else I probably wouldn't be talking about this. I just wanted to talk about all the different Jokers. So anyway, let's start with, hold on a second. Yes, Cesar Romero, who played the Joker in the 60s Batman. Now, to be absolutely honest, I haven't watched much of the 60s Batman. I have watched it before, but that was in the past, and I don't really remember him, besides some more recent clips I've seen.
Oh, you can say that over the phone, Batman, but if I had you here, I'd pound you to a pulp!
Start pounding, Joker.
And he seems like alright for the Joker he's playing. He's playing, I believe, the Silver Age of comics version of the Joker, where back in the 60s, I don't know the word, but the comics became more, I don't want to use this censored, but more oriented towards children, where things got a bit more lighthearted and less violent. So he's actually like the goofiest version of the Joker you'll see. Like, he's more like a clown and not like a murderous psychopath as the Joker is more portrayed today. So, but from the stuff I've seen of him, he seems pretty alright. He seems like he's enjoyable for that show and its more goofy nature. But anyway, moving on to the 80s, the late 80s, with Tim Burton's Batman and the Joker being portrayed by Jack Nicholson, whatever his name is. I didn't think that would be the name I would forget or mispronounce, but moving on. He played the Joker in that movie, and it's one of the few times in live-action media where they keep the actual origin of the Joker, where he fell into a vat at Ace Chemicals and it caused his skin to be bleached and his hair to turn green, and that leads to his insanity. And I do like his portrayal, but again, it's like Jack Nicholson, Jack Nicholson. Hold on, I gotta see how you pronounce that. Goofy me. Yeah, okay, it's Jack Nicholson. So, yeah, he portrayed the Joker kind of like an old gangster sort of thing, like the 1920s gangster style. And I like his performance. It's not my favorite by any means, but it's still good. Like, he's the first, in a sense, to do the actual psychopath Joker, and he does an alright job. And it also comes from the time of comic book movies where they weren't always sure how to deal with the villain at the end, so they just ended up killing him off so they wouldn't be there for the sequel or whatnot. And so, yeah, spoilers for an old movie, but he dies at the end.
I hate you, spoiler owl!
But yeah, it's enjoyable. I think he does the character enough justice. So, and then the Joker won't appear again in TV and movies, or live action at least, until The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger's rendition of the character, and a lot of people's favorite rendition of the character. And I can't deny of how great of a performance he is. So, with the whole Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy and how they kind of grind it more in reality, they don't go with the traditional Joker origin. Well, they don't really give him an origin. He's just a character there. He has no backstory, which is the case with a lot of Jokers. And I might get into this the whole backstory thing a bit later when I talk about other things. I'll get to it. You see, just be patient. Be patient. I see you there. Don't you click ahead. Don't you touch that dial.
Don't touch that dial now. We're just getting started.
So, but yeah, he does a fantastic job. Just absolutely fantastic. But he just delivers some very, very great lines and a fantastic performance all around. Like, this is a lot of people's Joker. Like, I'll get to this later, but he's not quite my favorite. But if he's not, like, a close second or third. But yeah, it's so, like, sad and tragic that this role ended up costing him his life due to, like, the mental impact of the character. It's tragic, but you know, he does give it him all. But I just another credit to his performance with the whole hospital scene and the whole blowing up of the hospital when he's leaving the hospital and the explosions are going off in the background. This wasn't supposed to happen, but one of the explosions doesn't go off, and instead of him breaking character and losing this one take they had, he completely stayed in character until the explosion goes off, and it's just a credit to how great he is in this role. And then the Joker would then appear again in movies for Suicide Squad, and this is probably everyone's least favorite Joker with Jared Leto. And I don't want to say the character was done so poorly because of Jared Leto. I want to chalk that up to poor writing and poor direction. And it's the case where you look at this character and he just does not. He is not the Joker. He is. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, for one, if you haven't seen him, he's covered in tattoos, and I don't know. It's the Joker. I see him as a mad clown, but this was just. It was stupid. Where, as I mentioned, Jack Nicholson was a tribute to, like, the 1920s gangster style. He's more gangsta with an A, where it's not great. I'm not a fan, and a lot of his takes sound like he's trying to do an Ace Ventura impression, and it just, I think it's very poor. But
listen, you are my guests to this handsome hunka.
But the whole Suicide Squad was just kind of bad in general, but I don't know if there's much more to say. Where I think in the case of Heath Ledger, where the mental shoot, I can't think straight. Where the character took a mental toll on him. I think it almost seemed like Jared Leto was fake doing it by doing stupid things like mailing people dead rats and stuff like that. And yeah, there was no chance he'd ever reprise the role, at least not by what DC's trying to do now. But anyway, this leads to 2019 and Joker, portrayed or played by Walking Phoenix, and like Heath Ledger, he also does a fantastic job. But it's another case where Heath Ledger had the mysterious origin, and Jared Leto ended up going with the comic origin of the vat of chemicals. This is an origin story for the Joker, which is very rare, and it's very very unique in the origin. It's nothing like this, kind of showing how this mentally handicapped man is kind of forced into becoming the Joker by the society. I said it. There, I said it. Go, whatever. But by the society he's thrown into has made him the person he becomes by the end of the movie. Now, I might be getting into some spoiler territories with the Joker in this, so if you don't want to be spoiled on the movie, you might want to skip ahead. I'm giving you permission to skip ahead this time. I might give you a time code of when I start, when I stop talking about this Joker. So anyway, but yeah, it's this this mentally disabled man who has a condition, and how kind of almost like other Joker origin origins. I gotta, sometimes when I talk, I like to mix words, but anyway, it's kind of created in the result of one bad day being pushed too far, and again, it was other people that created him, but he does a very, very good job. Again, I can't say he's quite my favorite, but I'm going to get to this. If I haven't hyped it up enough, it might be obvious who I'm leading this all towards, but a fantastic job. But I think the one thing inevitably, I know it wasn't the point of the movie, but I would have liked to actually seen more of the Joker, and not Arthur Fleck from the movie, which is kind of the Joker portion of the movie is only the last 20 minutes or so, but it's still fantastic. I'd love to see a sequel, even though I'm not sure how they do it. And another thing that seems like it won't happen is I'd like to see him face off against Batman, but he's already like 30 or 40 in the movie, and meaning it would be another 20 years before this version of the movie's Bruce Wayne would grow into being Batman, leaving the Joker to be like 60. And I don't know if it'd be weird seeing like a 30-year-old man beating up a mentally handicapped 60-year-old. But, well, we'll see what they do with the sequel, if they ever actually incorporate him into a Batman story. So now that I've talked about live action Jokers, I've kind of, well, okay, just rewind a little bit here. But other than live actions, I know Gotham played around with Joker. I don't watch Gotham. I might have heard that there's even more than one Joker in that, but anyway, I want to move on to animated Jokers, or at least the big one, and maybe some other portrayals of the Joker in animated series. But so I have been talking about who my favorite Joker is like throughout this, but now it's time to get to it. So as most people know, there was an animated series of the Batmans in the 90s. I think after like the kind of coming on after the success of the Tim Burton Batman, featuring Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman, and then Mark Hamill as the voice of Joker. And out of all the Jokers, Mark Hamill is my absolute favorite. And when I think of the Joker, his voice for the Joker encapsulates everything that the Joker should be, when or at least for that series and the series of Arkham video games that came after that. But just, he is my Joker. He is the person who I love to hear as the Joker, and I hope he keeps doing the role in the animated series. Him and Kevin Conroy just make such an incredible team. And it's like, I remember, like, because I didn't like watch a lot of the Batman animated series when I was a kid. I don't know if it was on a platform or a channel I could have watched much as a kid, but I watched it like more as an adult, and it's still a fantastic series that hold up. And like, I started watching it after I played Batman Arkham Asylum, the game. And Mark Hamill, of course, is the Joker in that. And it's like the case where it's like, oh, this is Mark Hamill. This is Luke Skywalker playing one of the most infamous villains to ever be created in any sort of media. And it's just mind baffling about that. And just, Mark Hamill is a fantastic voice actor. And for the most part, he does play a lot of villains when it comes to voice acting, which I think he's better suited to play the villain than he is to play a hero. As much as I love Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, but he just encapsulates everything I love about the character. It's just, I know I will say this, and I'll probably say this more, but he is my Joker, with the lines he delivers and the laugh, where I think I've heard in an interview that every time he had to do the Joker laugh, he tried to make it different. So it's just not the one laugh, and I think the laugh is an important part of the Joker. And Heath Ledger and both had a great laugh for the character, and so does he. So I want to keep on gushing about Mark Hamill, but I also want to give brief about at least another animated Joker that I'm thinking of, because I didn't really watch The Batman. I'm not sure who did the Joker in that, but other than that, I know John DiMaggio played the Joker for Under the Red Hood. He did a pretty good job in his own regard. Another thing about the Jokers, I think if you try to play an existing Joker, it's just not going to work for you. It's best to have your own version of the character, which is important to that. And but like I was saying about like kind of the origin of the Joker, just a famous line from The Killing Joke is the whole one bad day spiel, but just has the line, if I'm going to have a backstory, I prefer it to be multiple choice, which I really like that line, like how the Joker might be like an unreliable narrator in a sense, especially with the Killing Joke comic, which shows an origin for him, but with that line, you're not even sure how truthful that is in a sense. So I like that. And talking about that speech, as I hate to do this, but I know Mark Hamill played the Joker in the Killing Joke adaptation, but that's just not a great adaptation, in my opinion. I mean, he does the best what he's done, but that, again, again, could be a case of poor direction. But there is a video on YouTube that I found of someone doing the one bad day monologue from the comic, and he does a really good job. So I might link that, maybe show a clip. So yeah, go check him out. I'll put the link in the description, or I'll throw it up on the screen. But other than that, I think I talked about all I wanted to talk about. The Joker, just a character I personally love. He's my favorite villain of all time. It's just such a great villain when done right. So other than that, I hope you're all having a great day, and I will be back with more, possibly more, even DC coming next. So y'all take care of yourself. Have a great day, and it's something airplane related for the ending, and I can't think of anything to say. So until next time, take care. Goodbye. Goodbye.